problem cannot be solved by the same mindset that created it. Basically, if you're in a certain way of thinking and that has created a few problems, it's very hard to solve those problems while you still have the same thinking. So if you think you're powerless to get out of your addictive state, what I would do is listen to Gabor Mate would be my first port of call, Jordan Peterson, Brene Brown, Eckhart Tolle. Just start listening to people who've got a different mindset, a different approach to you. Intake their knowledge, use their knowledge to maybe try and shift your mindset, because if you listen to those guys, they will impart you with their knowledge, and it's a different way of thinking than the one that created an addictive mindset. Can't believe I'm doing this. I'm actually doing the YouTube disclaimer here. I'm not a trained psychologist. I'm not a trained psychiatrist. I'm not a trained counsellor. I'm just sharing my own journey and my own experiences in the space. And hopefully someone out there can learn something from it. And otherwise, just be entranced by my good looks. There's no coincidence for me. I used to go through these spells of a depressive state that would last for 3 or 4 days. I'd just go inside myself, hate myself, and before I knew it, 3 days were gone. I'd come out of this state, I'd jump in my car on my way back to work, and I'd look around my car and there'd be 12 bottles of empty Pepsi Max bottles. Okay, so what I needed to do was start putting good stuff in my system. Now, anytime you see low calorie diet or low fat, think chemical shitstorm. Now, the artificial sweetener in Pepsi Max is ACE-K, that's what it's short for. And if you look up the side effects of that, depressive thoughts is one of them. Any sort of artificial sweetener is normally a recipe for disaster in your head. Okay, and normal sugar, normally a recipe for disaster in your body. So sweetness, not the greatest. Okay, so why I had to start putting good stuff in the system was I needed a different way of thinking. I needed a mind shift from my addictive, depressive state to something more positive. Now, what eventuated from my journey was we've all got those friends who were a couple. They break up, but you're friends with both of them. You get his story and you get her story. You get the stories from the two parties, and you know that somewhere in the middle lies the truth. Okay, both of them have got their sort of take on the things that happened. They're trying to make themselves sound less guilty than they really are. And these stories can be quite polarizing. They can be quite opposite. But what helped for me was when I got into a mind state where I could be that third person in my own life. So I could completely neutrally and objectively look at my relationship breakdowns, look at my friendship breakdowns, look at the breakdowns in my relationships with my family, my work relationships, and completely assess where the faults were. And if the faults were with the other person, I had to learn to forgive. And if the faults were with me, I had to learn from those faults, learn from those mistakes, know that I could do it better next time, and also forgive myself for those mistakes. And in cases where I really hurt someone, seek forgiveness for them. Okay, so trauma for me was two sides. It's what is inflicted on me by others and what I inflicted on others. Because if you're any sort of good person, you don't really want to go around hurting anyone. So for me, I did some terrible things, and I'll discuss them. I'm not going to shy away from anything. Some of the worst things I've ever done in my life, I will discuss in upcoming upcoming episodes. But this one, it's all about what I did to prepare myself for the journey. So I felt a great deal of shame about the way I treated people and some things I did to people. And all that did was manifest a more intense addictive state, because I wanted to escape from my own shame of my own actions. And there were times when I also wanted to escape from the hurt people inflicted on me. And so what I had to do, I had to get into a state where I could objectively, from a completely neutral and honest perspective, look at these breakdowns and look at attributes of my life that weren't through rose-coloured glasses, as they say. Okay. So the different ways people do this is some people do it through hypnosis, some people do it through yoga and meditation, others do it through ancient plant medicines, others do it through your normal therapy with a counsellor, etc. But some sort of guide along this way is priceless. You really need to, with that different mindset, it's hard to get out of that mindset sometimes, but when you've got someone who's been through it or has experience dealing with addicts, their knowledge is priceless. Okay, so I got to this journey where I could do this, where I could analyze my life, see the good that I'd done, see the bad that I'd done, forgive myself, forgive the others, and from there I was able to put a 42-year-old's perspective on a problem that arose when I was 8 years old. And while I was a confused little boy at 8 years old, the 42-year-old could look back on this and be at ease with the people who confused him or upset him or hurt him, because he can see their point of view better. But in your formative years, when you feel as though you're being the victim of something, it's very hard to see your perpetrator's point of view or your perpetrator's even side of the coin. So next few episodes we'll be discussing what I discovered when I could look at my life from a neutral point of view, how I traced those back to events in my life that caused trauma that I went to an addictive state to feel, to numb myself from. So anytime the pain that I did not want to experience, the easiest way for me to not experience that was go sit at a poker table for 12 hours or go play the pokies for 24 hours. And later in life it was to smoke meth every day for 3 months. So that's upcoming. Look, I've got to ask if in any way, shape or form you're getting anything out of this channel. Please like, share, subscribe. Really want to see if there's people out there that this is helping. If it is, great. If it's not, hey, it's killing 10 minutes of my life every night. So upcoming guys, thanks very much for listening. And look, Kevy, I don't want you to be part of my trauma. Give us a call, Kevy. Give us a call. All right? Queensland and me, we've got a purpose this year. Alrighty. Thanks, guys. See you later.